Hello, everyone. So it's a little bit later today, but I thought I had quite a few things going in the office. I am at home today and working, but this morning, and then I'm off this afternoon beaching it because it's such a lovely weather. So I thought I would just quickly come on and share this. So, why one-to-one coaching? I've got some notes so I don't forget. Isn't just a luxury. It's actually a leap. It'll actually get you to where you want to go faster. So I want people to shift their mindset because what I find with a lot of people, and this is what don't get me wrong, we deliver one-to-one coach, we deliver courses all the time, and courses are great because what they do is they give you the education. But I believe to get somebody to the next point is you really do need to have like what I call one-to-one coaching at some point in your business. Group coaching is amazing if you're not at that point where you can afford it, because not everybody can afford it or don't feel they have got the money. And I would never ever say to somebody to go and get into debt. However, I do think you need to look at your business as being a way of you have to invest in your business first to get stuff back. Now, I always find in our industry, in the hair and beauty industry, what people will do is they'll go and invest in a machine, or they'll go and invest in a new product line, or they'll go and invest in, a new staff member. But they haven't actually learned all of the stuff they need to have in place before they do all of those things. So I think it's really, really important to look at coaching and mentoring as being an investment to be able to get back. Okay. So I think one of the questions I'm going to ask you, because I wrote this down so I didn't forget, have you ever thought coaching was something for later? Something you invest in only when everything else is sorted. And that's what people do. And that's what I was saying to you earlier. Well, you say in your mind, I can go and figure it out all myself. I don't need a coach. Group sessions are enough, okay? Or it's too expensive. I can't afford that. But what if one-to-one coaching actually got you to where you want to go quicker? And that's exactly what it is. So I'm going to give you some examples of why I think one-to-one coaching has changed my life, and where I've also seen people that I've mentored or coached change things in their life. So I'm going to give you some examples, okay? So what it does, it actually meets where you are, your goals, and where you want to go and what you need to do next. So group coaching is brilliant, and it's something I'm not knocking it because I do that myself, because not everybody wants to invest straight away in one-to-one coaching. But one of the downsides of that is that they don't see the coach is not going to see your business. I love live sessions, and we do live sessions when we deliver our modules as well. And then anyone that goes on to our level 3 learning skills assessor or level 4 mentoring qualification also gets live coaching, group coaching from myself and Julie. However, the one thing that it doesn't do is give you really good feedback in real time. So, for instance, I have coached lots of different people, and I know there's different things that they need at different times. Okay. So, I'll give you some examples of people that I've worked with. Abby's one of them. Okay. So, she was a salon owner, or is a salon owner, who had 2 salons. She was going through some crazy stuff at the time. She'd had a salon flooded, etc., and she was like in that transitional period of moving one salon into another salon so that she could reduce her costs, okay, which is what she needed to do, okay. But from a mindset thing, and this is what I'm saying about people, what holds people back individually, that felt like a failure to her. But to me, she was doing the right thing, because actually by compounding what she already had got, she was releasing one salon that was costing her far too much money and not having enough coming in. But also she had a few team members within her business at that point that were draining her resources, because they weren't to the point where they were. So we had to look at them individually to see where we needed to get them so that they were bringing in revenue into her business for her then to go and concentrate on opening her training academy. And that's why one-to-one coaching is so specific. So another lady, Gail, and we've worked with, and her and Charlotte, they've got Renew. So go and check them out. They've got their own beauty academy, which is amazing academy, and it's doing really well. But one of the things they were struggling was knowing where they were on a monthly basis financially. So that was a completely different set of coaching for them compared to maybe what Abby needed. And Abby needed to believe in herself enough to understand that the decisions she was making were the correct decisions. So you get feedback in real time. So you're beginning to understand what you need to do from that coach. And also, it's a really safe space to grow. So you can be vulnerable, you can be messy, you can be, without ambiguous, you can just be without any judgment from us, because we will call you out, or I will call you out. And the great thing that working with Julie and myself is that you get two of us, but you don't just get me and her. You also get the whole of my team as well, who are actually trained in their thing. So Lewis in compliance, Danny you get for training to be a mentor, you get Rebecca for doing your level 3 learning skills assessor. So all of these things are brilliant. Okay, in a group you learn general principles, but one-to-one actually transforms you personally. And the reason I can say this is because it's done it for me. Okay, so why do people resist? I believe the first one is fear of being seen, okay? Because you have to become vulnerable when you have a coach or a mentor. You have to tell them the truth to get the best out of them. And most of us have had things in the past that will trigger us. So, for instance, sometimes things trigger us because somebody has told us we're not very good at something. And that's true. I mean, when I had my very first coach back in 2020, for a long time, I had been in business at that point for 12 years. So I'm going to be totally honest. I thought I knew it all, because you do. And I was really scared to admit I didn't. But you see, every part of your business grow a business, if you are 250, you're going to need somebody that's already built a business to 800,000 to be able to show you the next steps. Because if you don't, okay, you're going to take longer to get there. And building a business is not easy. There's no simple, easy stuff. I think you get paid a lot less than what you did if you went and got a job. I know that if I worked in corporate, I would earn probably a lot more money in the early stages of my business than what I would have done, and probably over the years actually earned more. But I didn't want to be answerable to somebody. I wanted to have my own business. I wanted to create that. So the only way for me to be able to get that guidance was to work with a mentor or a coach, which is what I did. The next one is fear of change. Real coaching doesn't just give advice, it confronts you as a person, your identity. It questions who you are. And that's uncomfortable, because sometimes we have things in our lives that really trigger us and that we don't want to really be talking about or exposing ourselves to. But once you admit that and you go and get the help to be able to do that, and the coach will be able to tell you how to do that and give you steps to make that better, maybe give you the books to read, because you might be ready to listen to them. My coach, when I worked with him on a one-to-one basis, he would send me over a podcast to listen to, and it would say exactly what he'd been saying, but I needed to hear it from somebody else. So that is one of the great things about having a coach. The next one is fear of commitment, because guess what? When you get one-to-one support, makes your goals actually real, and there's no more hiding places. So we're so it's like the diet, isn't it? I know myself that when I go down the dieting path or the reducing weight, I know what I've got to do. But if I'm held accountable to a coach, it's very uncomfortable to tell them that actually the things that you've told me that will make this right, okay, I'm not doing. And that makes me feel uncomfortable, because I know I'm the only one that's standing in my own way. And if you're standing in your own way, there's a self-belief that you don't believe that can happen. So that has to change over time. And the only way of changing that over time is to talk to yourself in a positive way. So like what I used to do would be like, from a dieting point of view, I'm telling myself now, your body has given birth to two children. Your body helps you go swimming every morning. Because I don't feel comfortable, and this is me being very I'm vulnerable at the moment, is in the way that I look at the moment. Because for years and years and years, I was quite slim. And then all of a sudden, I piled on loads of weight. So I feel uncomfortable. And it's the same in your business. If you've been in business 16 years or 12 years or whatever, I was in business 12 years. And I was saying to myself at that point, there's people that I'm seeing that have been in business 5 years and they're further ahead than I am, because I was comparing myself to them. But here's the thing. You cannot compare yourself to other people because everybody has different things to learn. And that's because we've all had different experiences in our lives that makes our mindset very different, to not just our mindset, our own self-beliefs about ourselves to move us to the next stop. Okay, so if you're hesitating to invest in one-to-one support, it really is about the cost, or is it about the cost of you being unaccountable? So I want you to ask that question. Is it actually about the money you're going to invest, or is it the fact that if you invest this money and you don't do the work, you'll feel like a failure? Because I think that's what it is. And how do I know that? Because I've been there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember when I invested, what's it, £56,000. That absolutely was scary money. I did not have that money. I had to go and find that money to be able to invest in it. Okay. And we were only turning over about £400,000 at that point. Do I regret it now that our turnover is consistently £100,000 months, okay, if not more? Okay, do I regret spending that money? No, because it took me to the next level. But I know that if I want to get to the 8-figure business, I need to invest in a coach that's already done that. Okay, because if I don't, I'm not going to get there. So if that's what I want to do, I need to invest in someone that can get me to do that. Okay. So when you start thinking about different people within your business, and when I look back on people I've mentored, so somebody put on one of my posts yesterday, which I'd shared. It was somebody that had said to me, I'd sat next to this person on a mastermind, and for a year, basically, I've been in the mastermind group. I'd also been in the one-to-ones, and I love masterminds because masterminds is like a group session of lots of people that actually have maybe not as far on as you, or people that are further on. And one of my big things is always, if you're going to be in a mastermind, try and be in a mastermind that you are the smallest in the room rather than the biggest, because you will learn a lot more quicker if you do that. Okay. She said it on my post, Sarah, I learned loads from you last year. And that was for free. I was offering it for free to her as such, because I was part of that mastermind. But this is the whole point. If you want to pay for a coach, you only get back what you pay for. Because if it's too cheap, you're not going to turn up to do the work. Whereas when you have to invest higher, you'll turn up because you've invested money in that person rather than not. And I find the people that have invested the least are the ones that complain. And 9 times out of 10, I feel sorry for those people, because I know it's about them, not about me. That's their own triggers, because they obviously don't feel that they're worthy, because if they did, they would then go on and do one-to-one coaching. So for me, okay, one-to-one coaching is probably the one thing that will actually change your business. Okay. So group support teaches you the what. One-to-one gives you the how, why, and now. So if you try and think of it as a different one, do a course, you'll learn all about it, which is absolutely great. But your actually one-to-one coaching will give you the how, the why, and the now. Okay. So stop seeing coaches and mentors as being a cost or an expense. See that as an accelerator, and then make sure that you do the work that they set you. So if your goals are really worth dreaming about, okay, they're worth backing with action. So that is what a coach's job is to remind you. I've just been on a Q&A answer that we have every month for our VIP mastermind. And the reason I'm not going to run the VIP mastermind again, and I'm only going to do one-to-one coaching, is because I don't think they're accountable enough. Whereas one-to-one coaching is you have to turn up. But you know what? People still don't. Okay. So if you want to know more about one-to-one coaching, and it's something that you think, I want to be able to get my business government funded at some point. Okay. I want to put the things in place that needs to happen to make that happen. And there's lots of things that you're going to need to put into your business to make that happen. You're not going to get it overnight. Okay. All right. DM me and I will help you. But what I'm trying to say to you is, if your goal, and my goals, I'm looking at them straight on my wall at the moment, when I employed, or rather took on, a one-to-one coach, I got there a lot quicker. Nearly everything on there, okay, I have achieved. The house I've achieved, my money pot I've achieved. I've taken my family on holiday. I'm just looking. I've been to Disney, which is I wanted to take my family to Disney. There's 2 things or 3 things on there that I can see at the moment that I haven't achieved, okay? And I will achieve them. But guess what? You'll slow the process up if you don't have someone that holds you accountable. So I hope you've enjoyed the live today. I would love to know in the comments exactly if you've got any questions about it. You may have had a bad experience with a coach, and I would love to know if that's the case, because ultimately, when you have a bad experience, it's normally some misunderstanding that you haven't understood about coaching or mentoring, okay, and why it's so important and what you need to do. And also, it's about becoming accountable of yourself. I know when I don't move forward in my business, it's always about me, not about the content that I've consumed. So when you buy your next course, okay, if you're going to do that, remember it's an education that you're going to learn, but a coach and a mentor will keep you accountable for the steps you need to do. Speak to you soon.